coming up on the Lead Ministry Podcast.
One of the things that I love about Lead Ministry is that we have the opportunity to give you tools, but then we really want it tailored to what works best for you.
Now your host, Josh Denhart.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Lead Ministry Podcast. Grateful that you're here. We're doing this little series on coaching, and we're having some of our coaches that are Lead Ministry certified appear on the podcast and talk about their experience, talk about what coaching has meant to them, how it has actually increased their game and their acumen as a leader in ministry. We're also having some people who have been participants as a recipient of coaching, and we've had a lot of great conversations. And so we're grateful to keep those going. And today we have our special guest, Jodi Quinn. So grateful that you're here.
Hi, it's great to be here, Josh.
You betcha. You've been on the podcast before. As a matter of fact, if we go back in time, the way that you became a certified lead ministry coach kind of stemmed from the podcast. That was kind of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was a great conversation, and I was really excited. Yeah.
Well, what's been fun is we did the podcast. We kind of, we had some connections already and had met before and all kinds of stuff. But then on that podcast, I was like, wow, she's really gifted. She's really good at developing teams, and it just was very clear. And I kind of have this kind of sixth sense about people sometimes. And I was like, Jodi, I don't remember what I said, but basically along the lines of like, I know I can get the cart before the horse, but I just want to say, have you ever thought about coaching? And then your eyes kind of lit up and you said, actually, I've been praying about that. And so kind of talk to me just for fun about your journey and how that kind of took place inside of your heart.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I had been working with a lot of different leaders and had the opportunity to work with different leaders. And it was exciting for me anytime I was at a conference or I would make connections and just really network with other leaders. So I really loved when I could have those conversations. We could talk together, we could plan together, and then even me help lead them, especially someone who hadn't been in ministry as long, lead them into like maybe what they could do to help their ministry grow. And that was something that I found a lot of joy in, and that I found that grew me as well. So I had been praying for about a year on maybe what was the next best step for me. And because I wanted to grow my own leadership, it was just a step that I felt that God was weighing on my heart at the time.
Well, it worked out. And you, young lady, have a full slate of people that you're coaching. And so that is
it's been great.
Super exciting. So we're talking about this idea of coaching and the power of ministry coaching. And so that's been super fun. It's been a great little series. And so anybody who kind of listens to the podcast, we've kind of define it, we try to develop it, and then we have a bigger third bucket. Let's just do it. And so we're going to go through those today. So to start out, what is ministry coaching? Well, I have a couple of definitions, Jodi. I'm going to read those out loud, then we can discuss them. So ministry coaching. A ministry coach is a spiritual leader who provides tailored support, tailored guidance, and tailored encouragement to individuals, helping them grow in their faith, grow in their personal development, and grow in their career in the church. So what stands out to you as I read that?
Well, what I love is that it's tailored support. We really tried. One of the things that I love about Lead Ministry is that we have the opportunity to give you tools, but then we really want it tailored to what works best for you. We all have different settings. We all have different backgrounds. We all have different congregations. And so we want to make sure that at least when I'm coaching, I want to make sure that I'm not just taking what I've always done, but yet I'm able to look at what context they're in and try to adapt to figure out what can help them grow in all of those areas.
Yeah. I mean, what you're saying is so true. It's not a one size fits all approach.
No.
At all.
Not at all.
Yeah. And you've got, it's kind of like a chemistry experiment, right? You've got these different ingredients on the reactants side. And it's like, oh, wow. So that's unique to your situation. You have a unique church structure, a unique senior pastor, all of these things. And then here's what we need. So that's been fun. What else? Anything else that stands out to you in this?
Well, I really love the fact that we don't just hit what they're doing in ministry, right? We get to hit their faith and their personal development because those are all the key pieces, right? So it's not just what are you doing in your career, it's how are you growing
as a person.
Ultimately, how are you growing as a person and in your faith, because that's what helps us be better leaders.
Yeah.
So I think that that's often missed. And that's one of the aspects in ministry coaching that I love that we get to do.
Yeah. And I would say also, I couldn't agree more. It really turns into kind of a life coach in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in a lot of ways. And especially, everybody needs something different. So I have some people that I'm coaching with where I get to do that a little bit more. And then other people that I'm coaching that we talk a lot about just ministry, but ultimately, it's the whole rounded person. And so that
it's a special thing. Okay, well, here's another definition that I'll read. It says ministry coaching is a partnership between a coach and a ministry leader to help them identify their strengths, overcome their challenges, and achieve their goals in a faith-based context. It's a collaborative conversation that empowers individuals to live out God's calling and effectively serve in ministry. So what stands out to you in this one?
Partnership, right? Yeah. So it has to be a two-way street. It can't just be either me just giving them information or them only giving me what's going on in their world. We really do have to partner together to be able to help you be the best person that God's called you to be. And I think that the more everybody is comfortable in that, which is where you see in coaching, right? Those first few calls, you're kind of feeling each other out. Yep. And it's more of us in coaching where we are giving them just kind of what we're talking about, right? Tell me a little bit about you. Let me give you a little bit of information to kind of chew on. But then as we develop that partnership and that relationship, that growth, you're able to see very quickly what somebody's strengths are. Yep. You're able to see what challenges they're dealing with and they're struggling with. And then knowing what resources and tools that we have that we can partner alongside of them. Yeah,
it's really a discernment thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so quick, Jodi, I appreciate that about you because so quickly it becomes a thing where my leadership lenses are like, okay, I'm discerning this or whatever. And then as you bring that up, they're like, yeah, absolutely. That's exactly where we are. And then the special thing, and I know that you've experienced this, when somebody actually begins to see great success and growth and they're overcoming things and their excitement starts to blossom. And that's huge. So
definitely. Yeah. I think one of the things I love in that partnership is when you make a suggestion and they're not really sure, but they want to follow, they're going to try it.
Yes.
And so then they try it and then you get that text message or that email of the excitement that they have because they were willing to try something based off of maybe the strengths or the scenario we were seeing. And then they get so excited when it's working for them.
Yes, absolutely. And it really is an outside voice and an outside perspective who has this discerning eye to see into their world, totally unique, totally different. And that's the other thing that I think people may not understand is that, yes, it's a tailored approach. Yes, it is a partnership kind of conversation, but these people have my cell phone. These people have my email, and we lower the number of people that we take on our roster. Like I take 12 people a year and that's it. And then I cut it off and then I believe you're full right now.
Yes. Yeah, I'm at 12 too. And so I had, as much as I love coaching, I had to say, really, this is the most I can truly pour into.
Exactly.
That I can truly give them what they need. And it really allows for those doors to just open up when you pour into a select number, right?
Yes.
I mean, we coach on that as well, but you can't have hundreds of people that you're trying to coach. I could fit them in time wise, but I can't really do it. And I don't really know them because I would have so much happening in my world.
Exactly. And so if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm just going to flip the camera real quick and you can see that this is kind of an inverted triangle, and it kind of it follows the method and the methodology that Jesus seemed to lay out and model for us. And we call it the 12, the 3, and the 1. Jesus had the 12 disciples. He had the 3, Peter, James, and John, and he also had John, the disciple whom Jesus loved. Well, interestingly enough, we follow that. And yes, I have enough time in my day to have 50 people that I'm doing coaching with. That's not the point. The point is a real super deep personal relationship. These people become my friends. And these people become your friends. And I'm super invested. And what's been fun over time, Jodi, is that you have, we are rejoicing as coaches. And when you're like, oh my word, and you call me and we have a conversation about something exciting that we're seeing somebody win in. Okay, now I want to turn the corner. We talked about kind of a definition of coaching. We've covered that. Now I want to turn the corner and say, how can coaching support an individual? So we're going to take this a little deeper and develop it. So how long have you been a ministry coach with Lead Ministry, just for context for people?
Yeah, almost 2 years.
Yes.
At least we had the conversation about 2 years ago, but I didn't really hop into the coaching piece until the fall. So
yes,
I was thinking about that.
And you were kind of the inaugural person, and I had to set up all of the back end stuff to make it work, but you were kind of the first one. Okay, what drew you to becoming a ministry coach? We kind of covered this already. Any other thoughts on this one?
Josh, I think that for me, what drew me into Lead Ministry, though, is your spirit and your heart to help people wherever they're at and wherever their journey is.
Yeah.
And so that's what excited me about Lead Ministry. I had done coaching before where it's like, let's get through this specific set of content, and, you're coaching with a group of people and everybody's doing the same thing at the same time. But what I love with Lead Ministry is the ability to tailor our calls to what the person needs. And there's times that we get through content, and there's times that it's like 10 minutes left and I'm like, hey, let me just share this part with you. And then we can go back, because we're talking so much more about maybe what was happening for them. And we have the flexibility to do that. And not every coaching scenario has both, where you can grow in the content itself, but then also have the flexibility to really what's happening in ministry and in life for you right now. And then how do we move forward?
Because in a sense, that's what's pressing in their lives, right? And I don't want to talk extensively about recruiting just because it happens to be what's on the agenda, to where a really gnarly, upsetting volunteer is causing mutiny. Okay, that's what's important. Let's deal with that.
And it almost always, I love how the content always ties together. So I think that is another reason why I've continued to be so excited about coaching for Lead Ministry, is because it's inevitable that what we're talking about can tie into either something we were just talking about a few months ago, or something that we're going to talk about the next month, or even, hey, why don't you hop over and watch this video? And that allows us that flexibility to do that.
Yeah. And you and I, we could laugh and tell story after story about just how it all kind of works together. Okay. How has coaching others benefited you as a person and benefited you as a ministry leader? Because you're a full-time employee at a church yourself.
Yeah. And I mean, it helps me tremendously. There's been times that I'm like, oh, I don't even know how I'm going to fit this in, or how am I going to get this call in, or how am I going to figure out this email? But it's too valuable. Not just do I enjoy doing it, but what I get from coaching myself is reminders all of the time. As I'm talking about something with another leader, I'm like, oh yeah, I have to remember that myself. And the more you're in it, I mean, we all know there's so many things that we know. Like, I start coaching people frequently and say, I know you probably already know this. And they're like, yeah, I did, but I'm not doing it right now. And so for me, it's the same when I'm coaching and I am reminding somebody else of something that they need to be doing, or how they should be leading, or are you investing in your volunteers? And then the little alarm bell goes off in my head of, well, are you really doing that right now?
Yeah.
Or when was the last time you sent a thank you note to somebody? It keeps me leading at a level that I don't feel like I would be at otherwise, because all of the concepts are continually swirling in my head. And I'm so thankful for that, because we all go to conferences and get taken information. And if you're a great leader, you read books and you listen to podcasts, and those are all great. But then we listen to it, we implement it for a little bit. And if you're like me, it's just like saying vision leaks, right?
Yeah.
And so it starts to leak a little bit. And then being a coach helps me fine tune and remind myself to not let those things slide or let those things leak.
Yeah, that's huge. That's so important, and it's so true. So now, can you share a story where coaching somebody actually really filled your tank and really blessed you?
Gosh, there's so many.
Yes.
I know that there are times that I am blessed by somebody when, I'm thinking of one gal that I am coaching and have been coaching her for a little over a year. And she has had so many scenarios in her life, and she's really overcome a lot. I don't even know that I could overcome what she's overcome, but her strength continues to, every time I'm on a call with her, she reminds me of things that I'm like, oh, that's really good. That's awesome. And so her excitement for growing and her excitement for leading well, I'm just blessed to get to see her, what she pulls together. Just often currently I'm not in kids ministry, right? So in my full-time job, but often I'm pulling something that she's put together and shown me and being like, can I share that with my kids team? Because that's awesome and amazing. And you're blessing me and my church, or, hey, I know somebody else that I'm coaching who could really benefit from this. Do you mind if I share it? And she's always like, no, go ahead.
Well, and that's that inspiration. That's the inspiration piece.
Yeah. And she is so creative that her creativity blesses me continually.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. What do you see as the core benefits of somebody receiving coaching from another outside leader like yourself?
Oh, well, you're out of the context, right? You're not in the church. You aren't embedded in it. I have been blessed to be in churches and had amazing mentors and bosses and supervisors within my own church. And I've been very blessed by that. But one of the things that I love about being an outside person and has someone speaking into my life, Josh, you've been great for that for me. But it brings a different perspective. And once you build that relationship together, they're even able to say, like, I just had this conversation with someone I was coaching a couple of weeks ago. And I'm like, I'm not really sure you're going to like what I have to say, but I feel like I need to say it. I feel like you're so, right now you're on such a defense mode that some of the things that your supervisor is saying is right. But because you're in such a defense mode, whatever they say, you are 100% like
against.
And you're not taking a breath to stop and see if maybe what they have to say is valid. Because, when you're in the context, everybody is emotionally tied.
They are.
One way or another. And so when I have someone I'm coaching and they're like, I talked to this leader and they agree with me, or, I was talking to this leader and they think that it's fantastic how it is. And so when their boss or their supervisor makes a suggestion, they maybe are less, the people around them are less likely to speak the life into them that they need to. And you can zoom out. We can zoom out when we're not in the context and we're not emotionally, I'm emotionally tied to the person I'm leading.
Of course.
But I'm not emotionally tied to the work environment.
Well, that's right. And I'll say this, when you and I had a separate conversation, but you were relaying and relating this gal's scenario briefly. I don't know who she is. I don't know which one of your coaches it is, but you had said the phrase, actually, she's way too myopic and laser focused. And what her boss is saying, yeah, there's a couple things that our bosses said that are a little bit kooky and are kind of like, what? But this is good. And it really caused me to look back at my own history and to see like, wow, there have been times where a leader who was a challenge to me, I was throwing out the baby with the bathwater because it was like legitimately what they were saying was right and good and a good ministry practice. But because it was coming from them and I had a challenge with them, I was not able to see that. So I think that the advice that you gave was huge.
And I said that to her as well. I'm like, I can only say this to you because somebody said it to me.
There you go.
Somebody has said to me, hey, pause a second here. That's not bad information. Really, what's bad about that? And so most of the things are because I've actually experienced it myself.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
And really it does come down to you and I both have had like decades of ministry experience to be able to go, okay, and I had somebody say to me on a coaching call recently, she goes, I really like that you know me well enough that you're willing to call me out and say truthful things. And she said, I actually trust that you're going to say truthful things to me. And I was like, well, here it comes. But it is about rapport. It's about time together. It's about them understanding that we are genuinely for them. And that takes
and for the kingdom,
time.
Right?
And for the kingdom,
because
yes.
The better they are doing, I have yet to meet a kids pastor director who doesn't want their ministry to flourish.
Of course.
And so, that's the big picture. So,
and you and we become a resource, a specialty, a super specialty resource to help them bring about that which they hope they can bring about. It's really, in a sense, I know this sounds very cliche, but we are a tool. And what is a tool? It just makes work easier. And so, it's a coach,
sometimes it's just helping them take one step at a time. Like they have all these ideas, and it's that outside perspective to say, okay, well, this could be your next step. Let's just do that.
I love that.
And then once we get there, move to the next.
Okay. So, what a lot of people may not understand is that in concert with the coach's voice, which is you, they also have access to all of the lead ministry courses. And so it's this wealth, this huge library of 12 or 13 full-length courses, all kinds of downloads, along with an outside voice. Those two kind of things work in harmony. So for you, what course or courses have benefited you the most or that matter the most to you?
Oh, man. I mean, they're all so good. So that's hard. But I think for me, my initial, my wholehearted, like what brought me into lead ministry was lead volunteers, because it's so rich in, that perspective of how do you build that, for lack of better words, how do you build that middle level leadership in your ministry so that you don't burn out and so that people can continue to grow. But I think that once I get through lead volunteers, like lead up that's just, it's valuable for your entire ministry, no matter who you're working with.
So lead volunteers foundational course about recruiting, training, retaining, and even how to multiply yourself in a ministry context. And then lead up is, hey, you're not the boss at your church. You don't get the final say, but how can you leverage your influence as a second or third chair person at your church? How can you actually influence and steer the ship, and yet you're not the boss? And so how do you lead up to a senior leader?
Yeah. And I've even learned it's not just about leading up. It's really how do you lead within even your level of leadership as well. So I have someone I'm coaching right now who she started with me as a kids director. Her role is shifted and now she doesn't directly oversee volunteers. So I'm like, okay, well, lead volunteers isn't the course you need to be doing right now. And when we were talking and we shifted over to lead up, what the homework assignment I gave her a few, like, I think it was our last call, was take the 7 people that you are going to be working alongside of, that you need to partner with, and figure out where they are in those 4, right? Are they data driven? Are they, heartfelt? Where are they? And so
in other words,
that's what she did.
In other words, learn your leader.
Yes. Learn who they are, learn what drives them, what excites them.
What leadership language do they speak?
And when you're having those conversations about what when you're trying to lead vision with them, you lead it in a way that's going to hit their heart. It's going to touch them, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, that's interesting to me. Explain that more.
Exactly.
And I had a conversation with someone where they were like, well, isn't that kind of, manipulation? And I'm like, no, it's understanding people and what excites them.
That's right.
And then you get to say how what you're trying to move forward can help them in their circle. Yeah. And because often if we lead in a way that is, if I'm leading in a way of data, and data means nothing to the person I'm talking to, they're not even going to really listen to what I have to say, because they don't think it's valuable to where they're heading in their ministry.
That's right.
And so this, yeah.
And I would say that I couldn't agree more. And I would say, to the manipulation question, if you have a yucky heart, then it's going to be manipulation. But if you have a healthy heart, it's going to be leadership. And it's like, I can't impart a vision to somebody if they only speak French and I only speak Spanish. And so I need to figure out. It's not
any different than kids ministry and how do we meet kids where they're at in the phase that they're at, right? I'm not going to be teaching a kindergartner where I'm teaching a second grader, because I'm speaking to where they're at. And that's it. I just want to try to help speak to the person with where they're at and what's important to them.
And different leaders, they view the world through a budget lens. Different leaders view the world through like a take that hill kind of lens. And so we can craft what we're saying. Okay. As we kind of close it out, this is our last big bucket, Jodi. It says, why should others consider getting a coach? This is kind of the let's do it bucket. So my question to you is, what would you say to someone who is on the fence about having a ministry coach? What might you say to them?
Yeah, again, this is like context, right? So it depends on the conversation. But I think the biggest thing that I tell people when they ask about coaching is, do you have an outside voice speaking into your growth? And are there areas that you're trying to grow in that lead ministry can help at? And if both of those are yes, because they typically are, like both of them are yes, I need those, then take a leap and try it. It's let us hop on. One of the things I love about lead ministry,
at least a preliminary call, right?
That's what I was just going to say. One of the things that I love that we're willing to do is to hop on and do a pre-call with someone and say, this is where I think I could help you. And I've also told people, I don't think I'm the right coach for you, or I don't think that I'm the right step. So maybe you should coach with one of our other coaches, because they would be a better fit for you. It's because we really are looking out for how do we help you grow. And so I would tell people to give it a try. It doesn't hurt to hop on and have a conversation to see if this would be beneficial for you or not.
Absolutely. Well, Jodi, you are a benefit to me. You're a trusted resource. I'm so grateful for you. You've been a huge blessing, and it's been fun to really, like, you were the first person that I was like, okay, so this coaching thing is working. I've got a great coaching platform. People are loving this, but I'm unwilling to take on 50 people. It's just not going to happen. That is not a best practice. So the only way, and by the way, we talk about recruit, train, retain, and multiply. That's on me to multiply myself. And so, you were kind of the first person that we tested this with, and it's awesome. You're a gem. You're a slam dunk in our world. So very thankful for what you do.
And I am thankful for you to take a leap on me, right? And say, hey, let's give this a try.
Well,
so thank you for all that you continue to do.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, folks out there in podcast land. This has been just another episode of the Lead Ministry Podcast. We do want to encourage you. What might it look like for you to take a next step and to have an outside voice speak into your world? It's been a benefit to me to have somebody out there in the world to speak into my world that's not in my individual context. I have paid for coaches in my life. I have sought out those relationships. Jodi has as well, and we want that for you if it's going to be a good fit. So reach out, connect with us, and gang, we will catch you guys on the next one.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Lead Ministry Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and visit leadvolunteers.com for more episodes and resources. Thanks for listening.